Ninja Storm, Ranger form. Ha! Hello, this is the Power Ranger Ninja Storm review. I did film this earlier, but the length was too long. So I'm re-uploading it to try to get it around 15 minutes. So we start Ninja Storm off with the episode Prelude to a Storm, in which we are introduced to Shane Clark, Tori Hansen, and Dustin Brooks. They will be our new starting Rangers, because we're only starting with 3. They are students at the Wind Ninja Academy in the town of Blue Bay Harbor, and it is attacked by the evil space ninja Lo-4, who kidnaps all the ninjas from the academies. Lo-4 is helped by his general Zergain, the comic relief villain Shubo, and his nieces Mara and Capri. And they turn Sensei Kanoi Watanabe into a guinea pig. Shane, Dustin, and Tori then arrive at the Wind Ninja Academy, and they're late. They enter in, and they discover they are introduced to Cam Watanabe, the Sensei's son, who brings them to the basement of the academy, which is Ninja Ops, which serves our base of operations, and they get their powers. They become the Wind Rangers, with Shane having power of Earth, Tori having power of Water, Dustin having power of Earth, and Shane's got the power of Air. Excuse me on that. Yeah. That's pretty much the first episode. The second episode is There's No I in Team, which deals with Shane not wanting to be much of a team player, and the Rangers get their Zords to help counteract the monster that Lo-4 sent down. After the Rangers defeat them by combining their weapons, which Tori's has a weapon that looks like a megaphone. I don't really know how that's a weapon, but they combine their weapons to defeat the monster, but Lo-4 uses the Scroll Empowerment, which comes from his niece's cell phone, to make his monsters grow. But it's still better than how Divatox made him grow. At least it makes somewhat of sense for an evil space ninja to do that. Especially since scrolls deal a lot of the stuff for this season. And the Rangers destroy it with the Wind Megazord, which is a combined thing of their 3 Zords: the Hawk, the Dolphin, and the Lion. But we're also introduced at the end of that to the Thunder Rangers, and that kicks off the 3-part episode Thunder Strangers, which 2 new kids have shown up in Blue Bay Harbor, Hunter and Blake Bradley, and they quickly befriend Dustin for their love of BMX. Of course, Dustin likes BMX, Tori likes surfboarding, surfing, and Shane is, of course, a skateboarder. Or a skater, or some kind of thing involving rollerblades. So, in the ensuing arc, we find out that Hunter and Blake are the Thunder Rangers, and they have their own Zords, 2 Beetles, and they form together to make the Thunder Megazord. And they believe that Sensei is responsible for the death of their parents. But due to the soul of gems resurrecting their parents' souls, we find out that it was actually Lo-4 who was responsible for the death of Hunter and Blake's parents. Well, duh. That's what most villains do, isn't it? After this, Hunter and Blake go off a little bit, and they don't return until the episode Return of Thunder, a 4-part episode. Much like Arena of Evil, this is a 4-part episode to officially bring Hunter and Blake into the fold. They are brainwashed by Zergain to believe the same thing that Lo-4 had them believing before. Although the Rangers break the spell on Blake, Chobo still has his hold over Hunter, and they eventually defeat Chobu and break the spell on Hunter, and Hunter and Blake join Ninja Ops and enroll at the Royal Ninja Academy and join the Rangers as the Crimson and Navy Ranger, and their morphing call is Thunderstorm Ranger form. Next part of the story is a samurai's journey, a 3-part episode that should really be 2 parts because its main story ends with part 2, which has to do with Cam going back in time to find a secret amulet, the samurai amulet. And with the samurai amulet, he can help the Power Rangers fight Lo-For's current monster attacks. He goes back in time and he finds the amulet around the neck of a female student who turns out to be his mother, and there are younger versions of Lo-For and his father there. Amulet is stolen by Lo-For, but Cam is blamed for it. It is revealed that by Kanoi that Lo-For stole the samurai amulet, and Lo-For is banished to space. And the samurai amulet is passed on to Cam, who takes it back in time, who takes it back to the present, and becomes the Green Samurai Ranger with the Morphin Call Samurai Storm Ranger form. So that served as a very good backstory for Kanoi and for Lo-For. Cam also comes across with the Samurai Star Megazord, a 3rd Megazord that can combine, like all good Megazords can, with the Thunder and Wind Megazord and form the Hurricane Megazord. So, there's a lot of filler before we get to the finale, which the final story arc begins with General Deception, but before that, there's a 2-part episode called Shane's Karma, in which this ball of light is trying to escape a villain called Vexicus, and Shane protects it, and it merges with Shane and becomes Shane's Battleizer, which Hunter should have one too, but that's logistics. I guess that's for another thing. So, yeah, the final story arc begins with General Deception, in which Zurgane builds the Zurgane Zord to destroy the Rangers with. The Rangers, Zurgane actually takes the disc and he actually copies all 3 Megazord's weapons onto that disc. He eventually fails in Megazord, and the Zurgane Zord is destroyed by the Mammoth Megazord, which is using the Mammoth Zord that Cam got earlier in the season and combining it with the Thunder Storm Megazord, which is the combined Thunder and Wind Megazords, or Storm Megazords, or whatever. And then Vexicus, who was that villain that was after Shane's Battleizer, who recently has joined Lo-For's army, destroys him. He also destroys Lo-For's other generals. And then Vexicus himself was destroyed because we find out that Mara, Capri, and Lo-For have been secretly working together to trick Vexicus into destroying Lo-For's generals to fill up the abyss of evil so they can open it. Lo-For doesn't want them to be a part of taking over the world, even though he agreed to work with them to set this up. Shows how expendable they are, I guess. He manages to destroy Ninja Ops, kidnap Cam so he can get his hands on the Samurai Amulet, which will open the Abyss of Evil. After finding out that it was their destiny to be the Power Rangers, Tori, Dustin, and Shane go to where Lo-For is, and they eventually are met up by Hunter, Blake, Cam, and all the kidnapped ninjas. Lo-For manages to steal and trap the Ranger powers in the Samurai Amulet, but using their ninja powers, Shane, Hunter, Dustin, and Tori lock Lo-For into the Abyss of Evil. And then all the Rangers graduate from the Wind Ninja Academy, and Tori, Shane, and Dustin become new instructors. So, as for Rangers, Shane, while he's not the best Red Ranger, I think the Disney era kicked off a fairly good Red Ranger. Probably better than the next one in the series. Shane's best episode is Eye of the Storm, because you find out that his main fear is disappointing his family. So that's nice. Tori was the only female ranger this season, which was a change in tradition, which was nice because we changed the formula, and that would also, that change is in the majority of the remaining seasons other than one, which I believe is SPD only, well no, other than two, SPD and Mystic Force. Both of them have 2 female rangers, the other ones that followed only have 1. So this is a staple of most of the Disney era that there was only 1 female ranger in it. Unless you, but I don't think there's RPM, but her best episode was the Wild Wipeout. She gets knocked on the head, wakes up in an alternate dimension where the Rangers are evil and Lofor is good. And she helps Lofor's forces fight off the Rangers. So it shows you how serious she takes being a Ranger. We also have found out that her biggest fear is getting her hair cut. That makes no sense, but whatever. Dustin, he was a goof off of the group, and it showed. He didn't really have any good things to help develop his character, because I don't really think he ever was meant to be. I think he was meant to be a comic relief ranger. Hunter and Blake were good rangers. Hunter was a bit more rash, and would probably lead to more stuff, kind of like Andros and In Space, but that can't necessarily, that's not necessarily a bad thing a lot, whereas Blake was more calmed down, and of course the Blake-Tori relationship didn't go anywhere. Cam was my favorite character and my favorite ranger this season. Not only did he fill the technical advisor role by allowing him to have Cyber Cam, which he created, which could allow him to give new weapons and stuff when he was in the field. He also had, I think, the best character development out of every ranger in this series. Mara and Capri were comic relief for the most part until the very end, when we found out that they're actually not as dumb as they look. Which, yeah, because no one can be as dumb as those people are, as those 2 were. Lofor is the biggest letdown of this season, because up till the very end, I never found him to be a threat at all. And if they would have been subtle and put hints of what he was doing in beforehand, it may have been better, but really a lot of his plans centered not to show what his ultimate plan was. Zergano was the best villain. I think he had the best ideas. Yeah, I think he had the best ideas. Including that whole thing I talked about earlier where he copied the Megazord's powers. So, and Sensei was an okay mentor figure. He wasn't insanely vague like Demetria was. Everything he said, while it seemed like he was talking weird, it was still meant to be advice. Whereas Demetria would just ask a question, you had to figure it out. So, as a season, Ninja Storm is a middle-of-the-road season. It started good and ended good, but the middle of the sandwich, so to speak, is its weakest point. Where a lot of the just dumb comedic subplots started happening. So, the Disney era has started with what you would call a mild storm. Not a severe one, a mild one. We power up with Dino Thunder next. We power up with Dino Thunder next, and with the return of an old friend. If you like this video, hit the like button down there. Hit the subscribe button down there. If you want, leave a comment. And thanks for watching.